What's going on, everybody? Fair Play here, back again to do another late review of The Passage for season 1, of course, episode 6, which came on last Monday. Of course, episode 7 aired tonight. I apologize for the tardiness. I am always a week late watching the episode because I have such a hectic schedule, so I have to get it in there when I can. But anyway, without further ado, y'all bear with me. Please be patient with me because I did not write down any notes, so I will be recalling everything from memory or attempting to anyway. So episode 6 last week started off with Brad and Amy being trapped in the elevator. See, this is right after they had the encounter with Winston, the crazy, deranged vampire truck driver. Yes, he has gotten out. He killed Dr. Pat on episode 5. He encountered Brad and Amy in one of the lower levels of the compound on episode 5. And he tried to kill Brad. Not kill him. He was going to bite him, actually. But Amy let out this supersonic dog ear scream that actually stopped him in his tracks, and it actually blew him back off of Brad. So Amy discovered that she had another ability, and that was to scream as loud as she could to get the monsters off or away. Okay, so this is how they wound up stuck in the elevator after running and hiding, trying to hide from, as they were trying to escape the compound. Okay, so while they're trapped in there, Brad asks her, she's knocked out because it drained her of her energy. And when she comes to, Brad asks her how she did it. She was like, I don't know, I just did. She starts to ask about her book that her mother had given her. And she had left the book in the blood cooler back like an episode ago. And so Brad told her, we'll get the book later. We can't get it right now. And so while they're stuck in there, here comes Agent Clark. Agent Clark is the one that opens up the elevator for them. And all of a sudden he's being super nice. He's concerned about Amy and he's trying to help them. But he takes them back to talk to Dr. Sykes and Dr. Lear. And I want to say the deputy director was in there in the room with them. The one from the Department of Defense. And he is basically trying to find out if Amy can read the minds of people in general. And so while they're but they're also talking to them about the fact that Winston has actually escaped the compound. He's on the loose and he's biting everybody that he comes into contact with. So while they're sitting there talking, Amy decides to volunteer her services to them. She's like, I can help. She lets them know. As a matter of fact, she tells them that she can see what Winston sees. And so, of course, whatever the man's name is, the deputy director of the DOD, he says, okay, you can see them, so you can read minds. And so Brad tries to stop her from telling it. He doesn't want anything to happen to Amy because he knows that this deputy director, if he finds out everything that she does or that she can do, he'll try to use her to his benefit, and it could wind up really hurting this child. Okay, he doesn't want her to turn into a weapon of mass destruction. And so he's trying to protect her, but Amy insists that she can help catch this man because he is pretty much wreaking havoc out there in them streets, y'all. So they set about to go look for him. Okay. Meanwhile, on episode 5, if you recall, somebody snatched up and kidnapped Leela, who was Brad's ex-wife, while she was praying at the Catholic Church. They left Lacey there. Nobody knows where Lacey is because you don't see Lacey this episode. I guess she's still back at the Catholic Church. But they snatch up Leela and they kidnap her. We didn't know who did it in episode 5, but we find out in this episode that it is one of the agents from Project Noah actually kidnapped her or held her hostage. And as they were traveling along one night, I guess to bring her back to the compound, they encounter Winston and he's biting some man in the neck, and he leaves this man's body in the street, and he runs off when they discover him. This is the first time Leela has ever seen this happen. She sees this man getting bit in the street by Winston and she gets scared. She doesn't want to go back to Project Noah. So while she's actually in handcuffs or tied up, she actually jumps out of the truck. This is late one night now. She jumps out and she runs off into the woods as well. Meanwhile, you got Elizabeth, who is Dr. Lear's, of course, wife. She had Alzheimer's, But Dr. Fanning has gotten into her head, and he has also used the janitor by the name of Gray, the little kooky guy. He has controlled him and used him to actually go and give this woman the injection that he has. And so now she's all healthy and strong, and she's back to her regular self. Well, not her regular self, but she's got her mind back. Dr. Lear discovers her. They meet up. He's so glad to be able to talk to his wife again because it's been a couple of years. They make love, of course. You know, they always got to have sex. So he does that with his wife, but then he has to explain to her what has happened to her because she doesn't understand. She's upset. She's scared. And he explains to her what's going to happen to her. Okay, you got Shawna Babcock. Shawna Babcock, and you come to find out in this episode that her and Dr. Sykes actually have a connection because they became friends 6 months ago when Shawna Babcock was brought to the compound. They became friends, they got close, and they found out that both of them had something in common. Both of them once tried to commit suicide, but it was a failed attempt. So they have that in common, okay? And so they were friends, allegedly. So then you see also Dr. Sykes and Dr. Clark, or I guess you say technically back on good terms now after they were fighting last week or they were enemies last week. They're back on good terms now. You find out they show how they started dating some months ago, and it actually started over a movie date. Both of them went to the movies together, and of course they wind up sleeping together, and they're sleeping together now. And if you've been watching this series, you know that they have a sexual relationship, okay? So back to Amy. Amy and Brad and all of them are on their way. They're hunting down Winston and everything. And they actually, during the time that they're hunting down Winston, Leela, after she escaped from the truck that night, she actually comes up on this this cabin that she thinks is abandoned. She goes in to find that Winston has bitten this woman, that the owner of the cabin. He's bitten her. Leela thinks she's dead or half dead, but the woman wakes up, and of course she's got all this energy. She feels better than she ever felt before in her life. And so Leela can't understand why this lady's doing so well after she lost so much blood from her neck. The next thing you know, this woman gets up and she starts walking towards Leela, and she's going to bite Leela as well. But of course, Brad shows up in the nick of time and saves Leela's life. During this time when they're out looking for Winston, him and Amy have some interaction. He's trying to tell Amy to stay back, be careful. He's trying to protect her and watch her, but Amy done got real sassy with Brad. And she's real sassy with Brad because she's mad. All this stress is coming down on her because she done left her book that her mom has given her. She's missing her mother. And so he's trying to figure out why she's acting so ugly with him all of a sudden, but she's hurting and she's afraid because she sees what has happened to Winston and the rest of these people, and the girl is scared that she's going to turn into a monster too. So her and Brad have some tender moments in this particular episode. They talk about it. He explains to her why he's trying to protect her. He tells her that he lost a daughter as well, that he wished he could have saved her life, but he's trying to have a second chance with her. She understands. She eventually apologizes, and she's crying and upset and everything. So you understand why she's so mad and angry with him. Now, usually when I see a 10-year-old get real sassy, I want to fight him, but I didn't want to fight Amy this time because I understand what she's going through. Okay. So, anyway, they come up upon this place where Winston has bitten several people at this particular warehouse or somewhere. I can't remember where they were, but he's bitten everybody literally in their path. And so they wind up getting into this battle with them, and they wind up having to kill all of these people that Winston has bitten. Eventually, Amy gets cornered in a barn or a warehouse or something with Winston, and Winston tries to kill Amy. And he literally tries to choke her to death, but somehow, again, Brad, or was it, I can't remember if it was Brad or Clark, shows up and they save the day, and they open up, I think it was Brad. They open up the door on him, and all the sunlight shines on him, and he burns up, and so they kill Winston. Winston is dead. All right. Meanwhile, Fanning is still getting into the head of Elizabeth, telling her all kind of stuff, trying to encourage her and let her know she's going to be all right. You're going to feel wonderful. You're going to be great, because he's trying to make sure that he gets her on his team with him and Shawna Babcock. Okay. But of course she's perplexed, whatever. She talks to Dr. Lear about it. Dr. Lear explains to her what's happening. He is telling her all the things that are going on, and he's letting her know not to listen to Dr. Fanning. And it's just real complicated between the two of them after, she's got Fanning in her head, and then she's got her husband trying to tell her the truth. Okay, so back to Shawna Babcock. Shawna Babcock, towards the end of the episode, she confronts Dr. Sykes again. She gets in her head and she lets Dr. Sykes know that she's angry with her. She's holding a grudge against her. She tells her she wants everything that she has. She wants her job. She wants her boyfriend. She wants everything. She wants Project Noah because she feels like Dr. Sykes has turned her back on her ever since she started changing into this monster. She feels like Dr. Sykes has abandoned her. Dr. Sykes tries to explain to her, no, I wasn't turning my back on you, but I didn't know what to expect. You were beginning to change and I didn't know how to handle that. See, I don't like Dr. Sykes. She's okay person. She's cool, but she's weak. She's a very weak woman, okay? And y'all just remember that because it's going to come up again in another episode. She is very, very weak, all right? So anyway, so all of that has gone on. Dr. Sykes, when she sees all of the trouble, her and Dr. Lear realize all the trouble they have caused, all these problems and issues. It's a mess now. People are turning into vampires everywhere. It's just a mess. So they decide that they're going to just take a chance. They need to do something. The first thing that Dr. Sykes comes up with is she says, you know what, we're going to try to save Elizabeth, who is Dr. Lear's wife. We're going to try to save her. And what they try to do is they try to take Amy's blood and they try to overpower Dr. Fanning's blood with it in the lab. And if they could get her, if hers is more powerful than Fanning's, they will use her blood to wipe out Dr. Fanning. Well, after they did some testing, they realized that they could not do that. They realized that Dr. Fanning's blood was actually way more powerful than everybody else's, even Amy. Amy has a unique set of powers, but she's not as strong as Dr. Fanning, okay? So that's out the window. So the next thing they decide to do in a desperate attempt, they decide to just throw caution to the wind. We've already caused enough problems. It doesn't matter if we get in trouble. So let's just kill Dr. Fanning and let's just kill all the rest of the monsters too. So they go to try to kill Dr. Fanning. They release the gas. They open up and turn the lights on him and they begin to kill him. He actually starts to die. But what they find out is when they start killing Dr. Fanning, Elizabeth and Amy begin to die as well. They get sick. Both of them get sick in their unique and remote places. They put them on a stretcher and they start to take them back to the lab. And when word gets back to Dr. Sykes and Dr. Lear, they realize that they cannot kill Dr. Fanning because anybody that is connected to Dr. Fanning, anybody that was turned by his blood, when they kill him, they're going to die too. And they don't want to kill Amy and they do not want to kill Elizabeth. So that is out the window too. And of course, we know the show has to go on. So they've got to keep Dr. Fanning alive. So they still have a major problem on their hand. And that is the gist of what this episode was about. You got Elizabeth that's turning. They don't know which way she's going to go. Y'all, we still haven't seen Anthony Brown. There's still no trace of his physical body. We don't know where he is. Maybe he's somewhere hiding, whatever. We don't know if he's bitten anybody or what. They've killed Winston, thank God. We don't know what Lacey's doing right now. We just know that she was left at the Catholic Church. And see, the bad writing on this show, like Smirking Gun, the reviewer said on YouTube, it is some bad writing. They leave some holes in the story. You don't know what has happened to one person to the next. Let me see. Did I leave anything out? Anything important? Oh my goodness. Let's see. And do y'all get the impression that Clark doesn't like Dr. Sykes as much as she likes him? I think she feels like she's in a relationship, but he's not. I just want to know, do y'all get that? Or maybe that's just the way the show is working out. I don't know, but it looks like she cares more for him than he cares for her. But that's just me. But anyway, it's a pretty good show. It's a very good watch, especially when you have nothing to do. It's an extremely good watch. But the writing is kind of iffy, you know. But it's good and it's getting better. They got all I know is they got a global mess on their hand. This is apparently the apocalypse that they're in, and there is no telling what's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to fight it. We don't know what side Elizabeth is going to wind up on. Again, Elizabeth is Dr. Lear's wife. We just don't know what's going to happen. And that's one of the things I like about it is even though it's predictable, you still don't know which way they're going to go with the characters in the story. Okay. So anyway, that is the gist. It's not a whole lot of pomp and circumstance to this particular episode. But it was a pretty good episode, and they are just basically trying to deal with and maintain the problem that has been created since episode 1. So anyway, without further ado, let me get on off of here because I got like 29 seconds left on this recording. Y'all, thank you for listening. I hope you got something out of it, and I can't wait to see episode 7 that aired tonight. All right, y'all. And again, the title of this episode is I Want to Know What You Taste Like, because that's what Shawna Babcock told Nicole Sykes. Dr. Sykes, she wants to know what she tastes like. So Dr. Sykes is in trouble. All right, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.